I really hope this is working. It should do, because I stream with this rig nearly every other day, but...
Oh, someone's come through to Twitch.
Hang on, there's something annoying me about the rig already. Because you're like all the way over there on frame. That's pissing me off. Look, it happens, alright?
It happens to all videographers at some point in their lives.
Like, oh, God. You're too fat to move out of this chair.
Why have you got a sticky to poke it with?
Yeah, because I don't... A stick ain't going to help today.
That's a mighty old camera.
Blocking your way as well. What a dick. What an inconsiderate dick I am.
Oh, this is a good start.
There we go.
That was a good start, is it?
Nailed it.
Cool.
Wait, hang on.
Why hasn't YouTube got anything coming through to it? You are linked up to the Restream channel, aren't you?
Well, that's why it's coming through to your... That's why it's coming through to... through Twitch.
Yeah, so why hasn't YouTube got anything going through to it?
You might want to load... Remember that laptop you said you ain't going to need?
Yeah.
You might need that.
Yeah. Just in time for the penultimate Christmas podcast.
Got everything set up in time, and now look.
Technical difficulties.
Bollocks to it. Watch your language, Nick. This is a family show.
So, while we're waiting for the laptop to warm up...
Warm up. At least it doesn't do the alarm thing anymore.
No, actually it doesn't. Somehow, the magic of Ubuntu has cured of that little fallacy. It's not done it since.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not
How
sure...
you finding Ubuntu these days?
Fine, to be honest.
Because I'm tempted to bin Ubuntu on this machine that we're using now.
Well...
Software's a little out of date for my taste.
I've had no issues. I've got now fixed the issue with the Firefox not playing videos.
Oh, right. What was wrong with that?
It's a setting. It's a setting. You have to turn to settings and tell it to allow it to play copyright protected videos.
Oh, yes, because DRM is disabled by default.
Which is why?
Because some folks don't want the proprietary wrappers enabled.
No.
They don't want it, because if you buy...
Bollocks to them. I want to be able to watch videos.
If you install Debian on a machine, that runs on free software right through and through, so you won't even get NVIDIA drivers or anything on that machine by default. They won't even offer it, I don't think, for the install.
No.
You have to do that yourself. But,
talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's fine,
That's running a hard drive, isn't it? Standard Rust, I mean.
Yeah,
not an SSD.
Yeah.
God, blimey. Need to get you an SSD next year, mate.
Yeah, but I'd rather have the capacity.
No, you have a point. That's why most of my machines I have...
I think when this was bought, the option was either 1 terabyte normal hard drive or like a 256 SSD.
Yeah, I get a hard drive every step of the way.
Yeah.
There.
So
with my machine downstairs that we often live stream off, that's got a 500 gig SSD, a 2 terabyte hard drive, and I'm tempted to replace the 500 gig hard drive, put a terabyte SSD in it, and then stick another 500 gig SSD in the MSATA slot.
Oh, and I know that thing on Amazon where it was offering 1 terabyte micro SD cards. Went back on it. It was on there. I refreshed the screen to see what would happen. Forgot to take a screenshot. Refreshed the screen, and all of a sudden it fixed itself. So
yeah, so that
they
do you reckon they honoured any of those?
Amazon are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
For the amount of money they make, I think they'd take the burn on a few.
They could eat a few cards.
Yeah. Not someone's going to go in there and like buy 50 of them.
God, I'd have been in heaven. We're having trouble getting your pages back, Nick.
That's good, because I don't want you to get my pages. I want to just go straight to Restream.
Do you?
I don't want Luke to see all my porno page I had up.
You cheeky bugger.
Yeah. Sheepfancies.com, prettypigs.com.
Mm-hmm.
Your browser support playback. I've enabled it. Why?
Has that been disabled?
No, it's online. And we've got stuff coming through.
Have I clicked the wrong one then?
No, it should be.
We're having trouble.
We're having technical issues.
Which is nothing unheard of for us. Oh no, here we go. Look, live now.
Oh.
So it's refreshed. It's on the main page. We were sat there. It just didn't start coming through until...
brilliant. So...
We've been sat there going...
Just put your mouse on and see how long this has been broadcasting for. Minus 105. Right to the left. Let's see it to the left because it's minus, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
5 minutes. So YouTube has been enjoying watching us for 5 minutes, trying to work out why it's not working, and it's been working.
And it was working, it just wasn't, it didn't update the page. How dumb is that? If someone's sat on the live stream page, on the page of the live feed, you'd expect YouTube to go, hey, there's now video coming through. Let's update for folks who'd like to watch.
Yeah. All these people thinking, fucking man, that's a
where are they, dickheads? We've been sat here all day.
Anyway, we enjoy our competition.
Okay, we've got a game to play.
Oh, first of all, getting about the SuffolkRam.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 120 of the Round Nerds. Right now. So.
All right. Game time.
Would I explain the incident?
Go for it.
So.
This is going to be bad.
As we got, for technical reasons, I bought extra beer tonight. I bought 2 packs of Carling beer tonight.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, 2 packs. £10 it cost.
Oh,
and we went to Luke's. I put him on his for technical reasons. There's a bed downstairs.
Yeah, it's called. Politically
bed.
Correct here. The reason for there being a bed downstairs is I'm a cripple. So,
and whilst the 2 packs of beer on the bed, one of them fell off, nearly brained Charlie Spaniel, missed him by about a centimetre.
Poor pod dog.
But to be fair, if we hit him, we wouldn't notice the difference. I don't think.
No.
He
is a spaniel.
That means one pack of beer.
in your drink.
That means 1 pack of beer fell on the floor and got shook up. 1 pack didn't. Now, when I brought them up here, I lost track of which was which, and we've both got a pack each. So the question is, which one of us is going to get wet?
Well, I am getting quite excited, so it might be me.
Right. So on 3. 1, 2.
Hang on, I can't count.
Well, I'm counting for you.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh, it's disappointing. I thought we'd have. We'd have a wet quash. Obviously, Charlie Span's not enough to shake up a can of beer.
It doesn't taste like disappointment, so it's
no, that's okay. Tastes like Carling.
Yeah.
Danish Pilsner.
1 pint.
These are the bumper cans. Right. So
this is rich people stuff.
Thank you for joining us for our penultimate Christmas podcast, episode 28. Well, let's get straight to it. Games we've been playing. Skazz, yes.
Oh, no. So, yesterday, I started crying. Right. Games I've been playing have been pretty thin. I've been battling customer support demons again. YouTube, Google, same people, really, but for different reasons. I've been playing on Google Stadia again.
Yep.
But
still enjoying it?
I was. No, I'll be honest with you. I've only had, as far as streaming the content is concerned, I've only ever had like 1 major hiccup. And that was for about 15 seconds during Samurai Showdown, and I still managed to win my match. To prove that the service isn't as bad as people seem to think as far as latency is concerned, I managed to get 2 perfect runs, 1 credit runs on Samurai Showdown on the standard difficulty. So, I mean, you can't mash in Sam Show, and I still managed to go and get like ultimate endings for 2 characters. So, gravy there. I wanted to play Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 is a game that I've had it on... Inky's had it on PlayStation 4. I got it on PC, then my Windows PC went pop, and so then I got it on Xbox and completely forgot I owned it on Xbox.
Right.
So when Stadia came out and the game was on sale, I was like, I want to try this game. Pretty boys go on an adventure simulator. Let's buy this so that I can actually sit on Stadia and gauge the product. Like, actually give it some time. The game's going to last about 50 hours or so. This will be a good one to get into. Now, I've played about it would have been about 21 hours in it. My save file goes up to 15 hours because of a wonderful bug that has stopped me from being able to save.
Nice.
The game has an auto-save feature and manual save, so you've got 2 auto-save slots, and then you can pick any number of manual saves from slot 3 down. And I'm only using 1 save slot and the 2 auto-saves. And all of a sudden, 15 hours in, the game's like, yeah, error, can't save. Can't save, but the game will continue playing. Okay. Manual save. No, can't save. Can't save. Just like randomly it'll come up on the screen because, when you hit a trigger event or whatever, when you get to like a checkpoint or you start a new quest or whatever, it'll, do an auto save or whatever. So no, we can't save, but don't worry, the game will keep playing. Okay. Not a problem. I did this the day before as well, but I don't know what happened, but eventually it decided it was going to let me save. So this one time I thought I'm going to sit there. I was streaming for about 5 hours, 6 hours. Well, I was streaming for 4 hours and then continued to play another 2 hours off stream. Because for the entire time I was in stream, you can't save.
No.
I'd cleared a couple of chapters, I'd cleared some bosses, I was having a good old time, but it just would not let me save. Turns out this was a bug on the Windows version of the game as well, which had something to do with permissions of the save directory.
So you need to bring up Google and say, excuse me, can someone add me into my account and please give me permission to save?
Please, I've been playing for a long time. And I warned them because I also found a couple of quests that would just cause the game to become unresponsive.
It's so weird though, because presumably at some point the game must accidentally protect that directory. Because if you were saving, fine, and all of a sudden you can't.
Yeah, it's up to... So
at some point the game has that game has changed the protection of that directory itself. It must have done.
So Google have some theories. And initially, I just assumed it was a permissions thing. And then Google got this random idea that it might have something to do with space being used by the game. I don't know, so maybe their VM hasn't been allocated enough space or whatever.
Their server's already full.
So, yeah, that's it. Their massive
Jeff,
server
I
farm
told you
is
we should
full.
put more than 2 terabytes in it.
God damn. But...
it was only we're going to get more than 3 gamers on it at once.
Yeah, because no one was buying it. Look at all the idiots on YouTube saying the server sucks. We only ran 2 machines.
Yeah.
But
what do you mean the Raspberry Pi's not good enough?
So they came to this idea that it was a space issue, and so some of the recommended things were fast travel around the map. Sometimes that'll allow you to save. Only save in, say, like the first couple of slots. Well, obviously, I'm only saving in slot 1 and the 2 auto-saves, so I'm not using a ton of space using save files or making save files.
Don't play the game.
Yeah, and then it was... there's a character in the game who takes photographs just at random points in the game. Like, he will capture moments of gameplay. And apparently you can, when you save them, apparently that must take up some kind of a amount of hard drive space. Because I guess you must be able to get them on your PC.
What's he saving them? War format?
But clearly, because I tried deleting all of my characters' photos and it still wouldn't let me save. That was one of the things that the Google rep said to me. Delete the characters' photos and you should be able to save them. I was like, I've already tried that. It doesn't work. Have you tried doing this? Yeah, it doesn't work. Only save. Have you tried deleting your saves? I was like, there isn't an option to delete the saves, you Burke. I can't delete the save, and I've only got 1. So, and I was like, it's only recently started happening. So I lost all of that gameplay. However, I did note a reasonable feature that I didn't know was a thing. They probably have shown it somewhere. But they were saying how Stadia will allow you to go from your big screen to your phone to the TV downstairs to the pub or wherever. If I was playing Final Fantasy on the telly, if I then launched Final Fantasy on my phone, it wouldn't kick me out of the game. It would shut down the game on the machine I was initially playing it on, but then load up where I was.
Synchronises it.
Yeah. So I could then continue to play on my phone. So then because the stream was a complete bust at that point, so I couldn't save. I then went downstairs, launched the game on the TV, which closed the upstairs instance. I sat and played it for another 2 hours, hoping that I could get to a save point. Didn't work. I got quite upset, and Google said they're looking into it. The annoying thing about this is that Codemasters, is it Codemasters who do Grid, the racing game?
Yes.
Right, they had an issue with their Stadia port, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we done goofed. We'll sort it out," and they leaped to it. Square Enix, the guys behind Final Fantasy, it's a Google problem, and Google like, that's their code. It's a Square Enix problem. No, it's a Google problem. We ain't fixing that. So there's been a right old back and forth between Square and Google about fixing the goddamn game, patching the game. Google have said, look, don't worry, we're going to look into it. We'll do it. Because Square, they don't seem to care. They're blaming Stadia, the service.
But if it's a fault on the PC version, doesn't that tell that story?
And that's what I thought. I mean, some people were saying to me, but, well, clearly, Skazz, there must be a connection issue with Stadia because you can't save. I was like, well, no, but there can't be a connection issue with Stadia because the game itself is a streamed video feed. So I'm still playing the game.
Yeah.
It can't be a problem with Stadia because there's an error message built into the game.
Yes.
To say that it couldn't save. So, all right, maybe the VM that they were running on, there's a, maybe a config issue. Maybe they haven't allocated enough space because that game has had a few leaks in the past as well, where it just consumes space and RAM for no reason. But you'd have thought this is something that Square Enix would have patched. Right now, though, it feels like Square Enix have gone, you know that Proton thing that Valve have got going, the whole DXVK and Wine stuff? I wonder if we just take the Windows bloody version, take off Windows version from the launcher, and wrap the game in Wine and DXVK, we can slap it on Stadia's servers and job done. That's what it feels like. That's what they've done. They've just half-assed it. Because everyone else, every other company that's working on Stadia, are like, no, we will work to get. If the games don't work right now, we'll get them going.
Because it's a bit shooting themselves in the foot because people generally don't blame the service; they blame the game. Even if it's not the game's fault. Because if you had a console and you couldn't save, you wouldn't blame the Xbox console or the PlayStation console.
No, you blame the game.
Exactly. So it's a bit short-sighted.
But I think maybe they're probably saying it because of all of the backlash Stadia has already faced. Like, we can get away from this, can't we? We don't have to support the game. If it's broken and no one wants to use Stadia, then we'll just we can just it's Google's fault, and they can run off. But hopefully Google fixes it because I have thoroughly enjoyed the time that I've played up until that glitch started happening. I have no idea what's going on in the game, but it looks beautiful. It plays all right, although admittedly it is the laggiest of all the games that I've played on Stadia as far as control response is concerned. But it's still well within the region of playability.
Yeah.
PlayStation being the fastest to respond, Xbox is slightly slower, and then Stadia is a bit slower than that. It's like, as I said in the last podcast, it's almost like it reacts button on release rather than button on press, which is fine. The game is gorgeous. The music is great. The environments are amazing. So from what I get of the story, you play as Prince Noctis, his two guards, and his mate. And the idea is you're supposed to be on like you're supposed to be going to your wedding. Your bride is the daughter of the leader of another kingdom. Like she's a high up priestess or something like that. I don't like an oracle or whatever. And it's you're destined to marry this woman. Your father sees you off, you and your mates get into your fancy royal car. Your royal magic car breaks down or something, and then you push it to the road, you push it to the next garage, they repair it, and it is literally 4 pretty boys go on an adventure, and then all hell breaks loose. Because it turns out, that peace treaty thing that was going on, that you were getting married to kind of,
cement.
Yeah. Absolute bollocks. Whilst you were out gallivanting around with your mates driving around in your fancy car, helping the rest of the people of the kingdom by slaying monsters, delivering groceries, going fishing, taking photos,
all sorts of things
your
a prince
car.
does.
Yeah, all that, making people happy because, oh, look, he's paid me some money to go and buy a chicken or something. I don't know. He's bought me some cow dung, or
if Carlsberg did podcasts,
it's
they'd be a podcast.
it'd be a podcast. But all that magic fluff happens, and then all of a sudden the other guys decide they're going to kill the king or something. I don't bloody know. And then you get all upset, and then you go on another quest, and you're travelling around the world, and I don't know what the hell's going on. 4 pretty boys get in a car and drive places and do things.
So basically, it's Final Fantasy Top Gear.
Yes, it is. It's actually kind of... It's weird, though, because the car...
It's the best overdrive in the world.
The driving mechanic's actually kind of fun, because...
I was first had to turn initiative order.
The world looks gorgeous. You already control Noctis to start with as well.
Yeah.
You do get the option to control the other characters later on in the game by unlocking certain skills. Like, there's a skill to change characters. But in the grand scheme, you might as well just play as Noctis and give orders to the other guys. Combat is fluid. Fuck, I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Can you? Is it like just basic orders? Can you set like sort of like almost program in a way? Like if this no, it's just basic orders.
So each character has you have like trees like teamwork, magic. Weight, which is this is more like a real-time combat, unlike the old Final Fantasies where you'd have like the game would pause and then you could choose from menus and stuff. You can actually put skill points in that to allow you to do more things in those modes. But no, like so, let's say for example, Prompto, the guy who takes photographs, you can actually unlock a skill, you assign it to him, and then you pull one of the trigger buttons and then press the button for Prompto to use his skill. That's pretty much it. Yeah, as far as ordering your team is concerned. At this point,
it's not like you can't like sort of like say, okay, well, go take the high ground, shoot them from over there with your bow and arrow. It's
I mean, well, in the grand scheme though, Noctis could literally just sit back and they'll fight for you.
Will they use skills and stuff themselves, or they?
Kind of. They if you assign certain weapons to them, like you can assign 2 weapons to them, or maybe a magic skill, they'll actually swap between them as they fight. They'll heal each other as well. So if one of them hits the deck, they don't get knocked out. They just like literally one of the other guys will come up to them and say, like, "Come on, we'll get you up." Give them a healing potion or whatever. If you get knocked out, they'll come and help you as well. And you can actually assign skill points into like when you pick up one of your teammates, they get a buff to like strength or defense or whatever like that. They can do the same thing to you. The combat and it's neat. It's very different for a Final Fantasy game. Because
then they have that combat style. When was it? Final Fantasy 12? Did it use that style?
12 was like Final Fantasy 11. Final Fantasy 11, but offline.
I've sort of lost track of Final Fantasy.
Kind of.
I know Final Fantasy 10 was definitely turn-based, and I've sort of lost track after that.
15, you have more control of where your character's going, because in 11, you still had to pick skills from menus kind of thing.
Right.
You could still move your character around, but in 15, you can literally run Noctis behind an enemy for increased damage. It's a bit more than just spamming skills and hoping that you win, although you can do that. But it's a very different Final Fantasy. It's got a movie tie-in to explain the early part of the story. I haven't seen it yet. I own it. I completely forgot I owned it. But, there's a thing. They've got an online multiplayer component. Each character has their own side story, like DLC chapter kind of thing. Obviously, I haven't beaten the main game yet, so I haven't bothered doing those. But it's very pretty and it plays so well. I'm so pissed that the save bug has happened.
Yeah.
Because until Google fixes it or Square Enix are like, oh, that was actually our fault, I'm stuffed.
Yeah.
Because that's the game I've been streaming the last week or so.
You can't...
Well, like I said to people, I said, because initially, a couple of days ago, the game was playing fine, and then all of a sudden the save bug started happening. And I was like, I don't want to go back to the game, play for another 6 hours, and then find that it's going to stop saving.
Yeah.
So I just, it's not worth it. As fun as it is, I was at one point I was actually tempted just to rubber band the analog stick on the control pad so the camera kept spinning so Stadia didn't kick me out.
So it does that?
Yeah, if you leave the game idle for like 15 minutes or whatever, it will just close your session. 15 or 20 minutes, it will close your session. Which, I mean, it's useful because it stops, it saves people with bandwidth caps.
Yeah.
From basically crapping the bed, but...
it saves them just feeding out data relevantly, yeah.
It saves them bandwidth and it saves them cycles, so... But, yeah, it's just ruined it for me at the moment. Every other game works great. Works absolutely great, although I am a bit sad about the pro games that came out. I assure you, didn't know that Farming Simulator was a game added. That's a pro game. You get that for just subscribing to Stadia. And then a game that I'd already bought fell under the pro category, which was Tomb Raider. And I was like, oh, great. Inky's just got the same number of games as me, but she hasn't had to pay as much. Yeah.
Don't you feel good about it?
Yeah. Final Fantasy 15's nice, but I honestly I don't know what's going on, but I am enjoying just driving around the world because it's got an auto drive system in it. You can tell one of the other guys to drive the car for you, and you can just kind of pan around and look about at stuff and listen to music. 'Cause the game comes with kind of like selections of soundtracks from other Final Fantasy games. Drive to the nearest quest, drive to the nearest parking spot, you have to fill up your car and stuff. It's more involved than other Final Fantasy games. It's fun. Just that save bug sucks.
Yeah, that sounds like really a pain in the arse.
Really sucks. Cool. I have no idea what's going on. 4 pretty boys, travelling around, going fishing, taking photos, camping, cooking. There's cooking.
Cleaning.
Oh, no, they don't clean. They don't clean. One of the guys complained that the button was loose on my character's shirt, and he's like, "Have you fixed it?" So he says, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll fix it later." He's like, "Well, you better do next time we get to camp or whatever." He's like, "Okay, I'll do it," because obviously the prince looks like a scruff bag. And then the next day after we do our quest, he's like, "So have you fixed the button on your shirt?" And he's like, "No, I haven't." He's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll do it for you."
Fatal mistake. That's how people become dependent.
Stupid prince.
You got to make it do it. Well, yeah, these princes, you got to show them who's boss.
The banter, but the characters, the characters chat to each other as you move around the map too. Sometimes they, repeat lines and stuff, but it's neat. It makes the world feel a bit more alive, even though it is for the most part empty and has annoying enemies that are just. But yeah, fun. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Cool.
Lots of stuff to do. Recommended at this point from my early impressions, and I'll say that 15 to 20, 21 hours is early impressions because I still don't know what the fuck's going on. But it's neat, and it's worth playing on Stadia when they get it fixed.
For Final Fantasy game, you've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah, that's it. There's probably loads of subplots I don't even know exist.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Good game.
Awesome.
Well worth the cash, even though I own it like 3 or 4 times now. I forgot.
Well, I've been playing because it's Christmas time, and Christmas time comes around. We're nearly at Christmas, and Christmas time comes around. It's time for a zombie game because you always have the Christmas zombie, don't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You always, it's a tale as old as time. The Christmas zombie. Molly thought her mother had died. This year's Santa's got a surprise. Molly's mother's coming home in the Christmas zombie.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I can see that, she have little hang baubles off her fingers as she walks around.
Mate.
That's a children's book waiting to be written, I'll tell you.
That would be absolutely brilliant. Seriously, you know authors. Get them on it.
Yeah. Sister, I know you write lots of high-end sort of author stuff. Can you write me a children's book called The Christmas Zombie?
There you go, poke on a stick.
Copyright the SuffolkRam 2019.
We'll
OC Cash, don't copy. Yeah, yes. Molly died by walking through a door of death. No, Molly's mother died by walking through a door of death.
She died and then her mum come back as a zombie. It's like, hang on a minute. Wrong character's dead here. Welcome to Fear Tractor.
Anyway, so I have got round to a game which I put off for a long time, playing Telltale's Walking Dead, the final season.
All right.
I put it off for a long time because mainly because it was the final season and it was going to tie up sort of Clementine's story, who's the character you've been following through from.
You can't buy those anymore, can you?
I don't actually know.
Because they went bust, didn't they?
They went bust, yeah, but they got took over but they all got the IP got bought up by Skybound Entertainment.
Oh, did they?
Yes, because they went bust at the end of episode 2.
Oh.
But Skybound Entertainment, because they was like, oh shit, everyone's like, this is the last season, the other episodes aren't going to get made.
So no, because that would have been before, like, Minecraft story mode and that came out, right?
No, Uncle Stormo was out before then.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it was, yeah. Walking Dead got released, the first one got released August 2018.
Really?
Yeah. This is the final.
Oh, interesting.
Don't forget, this is the 4th season, so you may be getting seasons muddled up.
Oh, yeah, all right.
So so 4th season. And yeah, so basically because it's sad play actually, because it's the final season and it's finishing off of Clementine's story.
Yep.
And also because this was the last thing Telltale did. Really, so the last, and they basically Skybound Entertainment when Telltale went bust at episode 2. Skybound Entertainment then took on all the most people who'd written it and so forth to come on to basically finish the last 2 episodes off so they could finish the game.
Sure.
Because very good of them. Because it was all written and so forth. And right at the end of the game, this isn't a small. Right at the end of the game, you walk down a corridor. It's got all the people all put their names. They've all signed their names. And it's really sad walking down because, this is it. This was like the sort of last hurrah.
Yeah.
Of Telltale, and it's all come to it's a very melancholy ending, actually, a really sad ending. So it's following Clementine. So Clementine, Final Fantasy season 1. Final Fantasy season
Walking
Dead season 1. It's because the final season. I'm getting confused. Walking Dead season 1. You follow a chap called Lee, who this is the outbreak happens. Literally, it occurs just as the outbreak happens. He sort of gets thrown into it, and he comes across early on. He comes across a house. He's sort of like trying to escape the zombies, and he finds a young girl inside, and she's all alone because her nanny has just left. I might be misremembering things. It's been a long time since I played it. Her nanny just left her, and she's all meant to be at home, and her parents are away, and the person who took the after is just gone. Or she's a person who meant to look after her got turned to a zombie.
Useless bugger.
So I think that's what happened.
Should have got vaccinated.
So yeah, Lee basically saves her. He basically rescues her, and he sort of decides to look after her because she's got nowhere else to go, and she wants to go to where her parents were. I can't remember the place now where they were.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, say Wisconsin. It wasn't Wisconsin, but say it was. She wants to go there, so he agrees to take her there. They're going to go try and find her parents, although he knows pretty much deep down that they're already dead. Yeah. He's pretty sure, because the odds of them surviving, very unlikely. Yeah. And along the way, you meet up with other survivors, and you play as Lee in that game. You play as Lee. I say along the way, you meet up with other survivors. You form groups. You have to. It's all, and it's always been. All seasons have always been very much but it's not about the zombies. It's about the people. Yeah. And how the dynamics in the group
with everything and
people will react differently to how you behave. If you always support one person, when it comes to it and you want their support back, they'll give it to you because you've always supported them. They've got your back.
But then wouldn't that, let's say, for example, you were supportive of a character that another character didn't like, that person may then go, I don't like you that much now.
Yes, that's all in there. So you're sort of playing the game as well as you go. You're sort of playing the meta game of how to keep these friends in line. And it is you've got to bear in mind, it is an adventure game. And like all adventure games, you're going from A to Z. But you may go A, B, C, D, E, whatever. Yeah. Or you may go A, E, C. But you're going to get there in the end. You may have a little bit of diversion, but eventually the big plot key moments you're going to hit. Yeah. It's not really much in the way of branching gameplay. It's what changes, like, characters you might save. Yeah. I mean, Walking Dead, I think, is quite famous because one of the characters you save ends up getting killed a bit later anyway. So it doesn't matter which one you save because they're going to get killed anyway, but you've had the choice. Yeah.
You feel more involved through... Sure.
At the end of Walking Dead, so I was just put Clementine's probably about 6-7 years old at the start of this. At the end of Walking Dead Season 1, spoiler alert for end of Walking Dead Season 1, Telltale game series, not the TV series. This is where it gets confusing. Lee basically gets bitten.
Okay.
And they try and save him by cutting off his arm, and it doesn't work. He's starting to get infected and so forth. So he basically knows he's going to turn.
I don't understand infection control, clearly.
Well, he knows he's going to turn, and he basically gets Clement. And you have the choice, actually. You basically tell Clementine to, like, just leave you, or you can ask her to kill you, so you don't turn. Yeah.
For a wee child?
I asked her to kill me.
You brutal bastard.
And she does. She basically gets... At this point, you've taught her how to use a gun. You've taught her how to sort of basics of how to basically survive, basically get in sort of a crash course in survival.
Yeah.
You know, you've made her cut her hair so she can't be grabbed in a fight, can't be grabbed.
Yeah, sure.
All these little
long hair is a beast in a fight.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, so you're doomed. So
yeah.
But because this is all like a bit later on. It's quite good because it's about a moment quite midway through this first series where he meets this guy, and the guy says, "You're trying to raise and help her survive." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "Does she know how to fire a gun?" No, she needs to know how to fire a gun.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't got the luxury of not knowing that information now as a child. You don't want a child to have a gun, but we ain't got a luxury now.
Yeah, for sure. What happens if she's cornered and needs to defend herself?
Yeah.
She needs to know how to.
If
not, you're basically leading her to her death.
Exactly. But she basically ends up shooting him. And she escapes. Season 2, it turns out she actually met up with some of the other survivors because Pies all got separated. She actually managed to meet up. Time tends to jump a little bit between the seasons, so it doesn't go into full details of how they got through every step of the way. Season 2, she basically, whoever she's with in the group, they basically get caught out and lost, and she ends up, long story short, she ends up alone again, all by herself.
All right.
And season 2, you play as Clementine. You're playing as her as the main character now.
Neat.
Yeah, season 2 is a bit weird because she's still about 7 or 8 years old in this game, But you eventually go and meet up with another group of survivors again, and they will take you. They do things like, "Oh, we're going to go check the traps. You best come with us." Like, she's an 8-year-old girl. There's loads of adults there. Why are you taking an 8-year-old? Because they have to keep thinking ways.
Why didn't they split the group to have her stay safe?
Well, they have a home base. They're fine. They're safe.
Oh, yeah.
They're just going to check some traps and stuff. They didn't need to take her, but obviously she's the main character, so they have to keep finding these bullshit excuses why she needs to go along with them.
Sure. The weird thing is, though, you say they need to keep finding bullshit, yet you know they're bullshit. And no, it's fine. It's fine. She has to be there.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
For the sake of the story. Take a writing class.
To be fair, it's actually quite well written. Apart from that sort of minor
Apart
thing,
from that
bit,
plot
it's
hole.
quite... Yeah. Oh, look, we convenient to get through this group. Luckily, convenient we need to get through this small gap. Luckily, Clementine is small enough to do that.
I mean, in fairness, you want her to learn how to check the traps and learn the ropes anyway,
I suppose, yeah, but she's only known them for like a day.
She's got to learn eventually.
Yeah.
If not,
so
she's
it just feels a bit. It just feels a bit weird. They keep doing this. Like, there's plenty of people who go out instead.
It's forced.
Yeah, it feels very forced. It's also worth noting that during this, one of the people who's in the group is actually pregnant.
Oh?
Yeah, she's pregnant.
They did that in, oh God, Day of the Dead.
All right.
If I remember rightly.
But season 2 group, there was just like this bigger group of people who set themselves up in a old issue shopping supermarket type place.
Right, okay. Just, can I ask for a spoiler? What happens to the pregnant woman?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I'll get to that. Okay, but I'll get to that. So, they get to the they've been running away from this group who set up in a strip mall, and they basically were part of the group, and they left. They didn't like the way it was going. They didn't like the chap in charge. They thought he was a bit psychotic. He would do things like, if you didn't get your work done, he would basically beat you up senseless.
Oh.
And yes, they didn't know. So they basically run. Trouble is, this group weren't happy about them. They've been chasing them. They keep trying to find them. So they're running from this group. They're trying to lie low and hope that they'll forget about them and they'll leave. Yeah. Long story short, they get getting recaptured by this group, brought back and put back to work. Clementine's put into work and so forth. It's also quite neat, actually, because there's some DLC for the first Walking Dead called 400 Days, and it's like 5 mini stories.
So there's an there's an extra to an episodic game.
Yeah, there's DLC they released later. But the DLC followed 5 separate people. All those people are part of this new colony.
Oh.
because basically at the end of that 400 days, someone comes along and goes, hey, we've set this new group here, we've got food, we've got water, why not come join us? And you're part, so all those people, you see them all again.
Okay.
You know, which is quite neat. So they do tour time all together. So basically, eventually, they managed to escape from this group. They basically managed to get the group's place overrun by zombies and basically use that as an excuse to escape. And I think actually Clementine gets to watch someone gets to watch the main guy have his head caved in.
Oh, great!
It's your choice whether she does see that or not. She can say, "I'll stay and watch."
I will stay and watch.
Yeah.
Fuck you, mate. You took away my Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
You took away my Carlsberg. She's 7.
Yeah. So they go on the run, and they end up. So towards the end, what actually ends up happening is the pregnant woman, and again, spoilers for Walking Dead's Telltale game series season 2. Pregnant woman has the baby. Unfortunately, she dies very shortly afterwards from complications from the birth.
Oh, okay.
So now stuck with a baby, and they have to then sort of keep them going.
I was going to say, so they, spoiler for, I think it's Day of the Dead. A really old film. They do something like that with a pregnant woman in that film, and it doesn't turn out well for her either.
No.
It seems to... It's a thing. When zombies attack, if you're pregnant, you're dead.
Yeah. Well, she must have been pregnant after the zombies attacked, to be fair. Given the timeline of the game, she must have been
fair
pregnant.
enough.
So she's probably pregnant afterwards.
If you get pregnant and there are zombies somewhere, you're dead.
Yeah. So, yeah, and her husband's at this point already been killed. So there is also...
If your husband dies when there's a zombie apocalypse somewhere, you're dead.
Yeah. So at the end of that season, Clementine, with the baby, basically has to make a decision of who they're going to go with. There's like 2 main characters left by this point. She's got side and they both absolutely hate each other. They're going to split apart, but they both think Clementine and the baby should come with them. Okay. And she has to decide in a rather aggressive way, involved bullets.
Right.
Yeah, because they get into a massive fight. So that's where she goes with, and they go off, and off they go on to wherever and so forth. It then jumps to the next season called New Frontier. This time you're not playing as Clementine, you're playing as a chap called Javier. I think Javier? I think that's how you pronounce it. Javier, that must be it, yeah. And he is a ex-baseball player, and basically he's complete unlinked to this guy. At first, he's from a different area. He's got a group of people with him, and they are off, and they're sort of moving around trying to find a new home. And they basically come across this new society. Most have heard rumours of this thing called the New Frontier, which is an organisation a bit like the Prison, but a really massive group.
Okay.
And they're actually slightly militaristic. They actually go out and will attack people and sort of raid them and take them and basically or force them to join them and so forth. They're quite a big group. Okay. And the group, this point, time has moved on quite a long time. Clementine's now sort of 11, 12 years old now. She's quite a bit older. Alvin's sort of like early AJ, who's the name of the child, sort of early, sort of still baby, but sort of toddler age now. So time's moved on. People starting to rebuild society. You know, like the friendly place they stay at. They are using horses again. They're off going doing stuff. They've got power. You know, it's time to rebuild.
Yeah,
even though it's small scrapes. They end up getting attacked by New Frontier, and you end up basically going after them. And Javier comes across Clementine. At this point, she's been on the run for several years, and she's quite a hard person. This is where the second problem they had, of course, was... Because obviously, when you play an adventure game like this, you get to choose how you react to characters, how you talk to characters, and so forth. In the third game, because she's now a non-player character, they've got to guess how you played her.
But could they not have just read the save file? And
you would have thought they could have, but obviously they must have decided in advance what flags they put in that save file. If they didn't put the right number of flags in to be able to tell, and also it would mean they'd have, presumably they didn't, because definitely the Clementine who I met was very different to the Clementine I played in Season 2. You could explain that it's been 3 years later, she's hardened up a little bit, and sometimes she's grown up from 6-year-old to like a 12-year-old. in a zombie-infested world. You know, her own father figure she has died. She's found herself looking after this infant, who basically also New Frontier took away from her.
Yeah.
So you think she was good enough to raise it? Because, to be fair, she was like a 12-year-old child, and they said, "You won't raise this child. We'll send it off to another."
We'll send it off.
They did. They sent it off to another group, basically, where the child be raised by adults.
They have to be bloody confident to send off a.
It's part of their group.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, even like covering any distance would during the zombie apocalypse not great.
I think actually by this point people though have got a little bit cocky. Yes, walkers are dangerous, but if you're sensible about it, unless you are stupid or unlucky, you're pretty safe.
Oh right, okay.
Because at this point people know how they work.
So we're basically saying we're chilling out in Africa and we're worried about a lion.
The way I see about it is at this point the walkers are a bit like bad weather. If you know about bad weather, you know how to deal with it and how to cope with it, but you can still be caught out in a storm and killed.
Walkers are like bad weather.
They are.
Carry an umbrella.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. You know, we've got a bad case of walkers coming this way, that's okay, we'll just spam the hatch, they'll wander off. That's how they deal with it.
We've got a bad case of walkers coming, don't worry, there's probably a pill for that.
Yeah. So, Gary Lineker sorts them out.
The antacids are in the cupboard.
Yeah. So basically that's how they are. So at this point, most people know how, don't forget these groups are used. Some of these groups have got vehicles.
Right.
Now at this point, people are getting quite good at dealing with the situation. Like I say, walkers, they tend to catch, if you're unlucky, they catch you by surprise, which is quite hard to do. Or you make a lot of ruckus and noise, you may come across a group, but you have to be quite unlucky to get caught out by them now.
Okay.
Because they are quite slow-moving, quite docile, and so forth.
Okay.
So at the end of New Frontier, Clementine leaves Xavier and is going to go and find AJ. She's found out where he is. Because that's all she was interested in. Where is he? She was trying to get him back. And she managed to find out where he is. Because they took her away from her. And she wanted him back, and then she got kicked out as a result of that, and she's determined to find out where he is. So she managed to find out where he is, and she goes out. So the final season, we've jumped a bit more time now. Now AJ's about 6 years old, so she's about 16, 17, so she's nearly an adult, nearly grown up. And she's got AJ with her. I mean, she's learned to drive a car, so they've managed to find a car, and she's driving that. And basically she's teaching, and at this point the game tells you AJ is going to be watching what you do and what you teach him, and he will change depending on how you look after him, how you raise him. So basically this is a good practice. If ever I have children, this is basically for me to see how well I'm going to be as a father if there's a zombie apocalypse.
Dare I ask?
It went sort of okay.
Sort of okay.
Yeah, I did turn him slightly psychotic. It's alright though, it's fine. He came good in the end.
Okay.
yeah. Because the thing is, at the end, so previous games they usually tell you at the end of each sort of episode, they tell you how you did, what decisions you made, and how it compares to like everybody else. Which also they can't tell you anymore because the Telltale servers don't exist anymore.
Well,
so you can tell your decisions, but they can't tell you what everybody else picked.
Everyone else picked nothing because 404.
Yes, yeah. But what this tells you now is because it's a more character-driven game. It tells you what other characters think of you and what sort of mood you left them in.
Did they change that between?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
They changed that. That was definitely a change between season 3. This is obviously where they were going. They've also made it more action focused a bit. Not a lot. I don't. That's one way to use it. It's got a slight more. It's the combat in it. Whereas previous one, the combat was very QTE scripted and so forth, hit the button at the right time or click on the head at the right time type thing. Now you have actually got proper WASD controls, and you have to go out when you get to the monsters. You can either kill them straight over with coup, or you can stun them. So it's just 2 buttons. There's no you don't have to aim. As long as you're close enough, you'll do it.
Okay.
So it's very simplified combat. However, there's like 2 of them. You have to stun one and take out the other because it takes you a while to kill them. It's not an instant bash and head kill. No, so if there's 2 of them next to you, and you just go straight kill one, and the other one's just going to grab you and take you down. And you also got to be watching your surroundings as well because they'll sneak up on you also, and you'll be attacking, killing one, and the zombie just comes up behind you and grabs you and rips your throat out. So it's actually surprisingly, for such a simple system, it is surprisingly complicated, actually quite hard. I think I've died far more in this one I've done in all the other seasons combined.
Fair enough.
It's actually surprisingly tricky. So in this one, you are basically, you've got AJ, You're raising them, and you shortly after you basically find a place where there's got some supplies and food. You think you found them, you're going quite well, and unfortunately you set off a booby trap with a grenade, and you both get injured. And luckily though, some people rescue you, and they are basically a nearby school that was for troubled youths.
Right.
And when the apocalypse came, all the teachers, bar one, left them behind. So all these kids got left behind in this school.
Bar one teacher.
She's actually the nurse.
Oh.
She stayed behind. She refused to leave. But everybody else left. So all these kids have basically had to raise themselves by themselves without any other outside help. And they've had to form up defences and learn to go hunting and all sorts. But the interesting is, sort of point they're trying to make is these guys because they've always been in a safe place. They're behind big brick walls. They've also got proper rails, so nothing can get into them. They're in a safe place. They've been lucky, but they're quite not. They're not. They don't know. They don't know how to survive on the road. They are fixed. They're stuck at this one place.
Okay.
So you get rescued by them. You find it sort of talking to himself, some of the group are a little bit suspicious of you and wondering what you're doing. Then they're worried about food, bits like that. They're also worried, like, they're not sure what to make of you. You also find out, like, previously to they've had a bit of disaster because a year previous, two of their people killed whilst out on hunting expedition.
Okay.
They're sort of quite nervous about that. But you go, if you can help, you go help hunting. There's going to be some minor spoilers for the first episode. You can there's a bit early on where you can choose to go out and help hunting them.
Yeah.
Eventually you find yourself in a bit of conflict with another group of raiders who basically are trying to forcibly recruit people into their army, and they are after you guys because you're young, so forth. So Clementine finds herself in a situation of almost like a leader to him in a way.
Right.
The whole time she's got AJ with her, and she's basically having to raise AJ as well. And so all situations you encounter, when you make decisions, he'll basically his moralities off that. But at the end of each episode, it tells you what the characters think, and it's quite brutal in some cases. Like, you left this character feeling really guilty. And at the end of one episode, it said to me about AJ, it said, "You shattered AJ's confidence." It's like, for fuck's sake!
You think to yourself, what the hell, man?
What did I do? I was like, oh shit. So yeah, it was it's quite strange. But so I've actually played it the course of 3 nights.
Okay.
I wanted to do it in one setting, but each episode's about 2.5 hours long.
Okay.
So they're quite. So yeah, I could do it one.
That's a reasonable length, really.
They all are. I think the shortest was season 2, which I think came in about 7 hours for the episodes. That's quite short.
That's like when my children played Minecraft story mode. I was really surprised how long that game was.
Yeah, those episodes are quite. The first season, I think I played for 14 hours.
Wow.
But also there was 5 episodes, and there was that DLC as well. So it's probably about a similar length episode. On average, the episodes take 2.5 hours. I would say if you're going to play these games, plan out, if you can, time to play an episode at a time, because they're very quite contained.
Right.
And they're a bit like a TV series that you get previously on, but they're not like... most of them do end on a cliffhanger, but they are quite tightly contained.
I want to just quickly interrupt and throw out there, you can't buy these anymore.
Can you not?
No.
That's a real shame.
They are no longer available on Steam. I just had a look for Walking Dead and Minecraft Story Mode. They do not exist anymore. Neither does Wolf Among Us. Is that another one of those? That's not there either.
That is a real shame.
All of these games have been
Well,
pulled.
that also means that Batman won't be out there. The Game of Thrones one they did won't be out there.
Back to the Future wasn't
Back to the Future one there. So that is a real shame. I wonder if there's a licensing issue there, because I presume Skybound must have took on the license to finish it. Although Skybound Entertainment actually run the series, so perhaps it came back to them. It makes you wonder. Perhaps I tell you what it is. These companies, they don't wind down overnight.
No.
And they only went bust. Was it beginning part of this year?
I Actually, no, I couldn't comment there, to be fair.
Well, Walking Dead already released episode 2, and it started being released in August last year. So they tend to release them every couple of months. So they might have gone really late last year, or they went early part this year. I think early part this year they went, which might mean it's simply a case of it's all tied up still in legal problems.
Yeah.
So I find it probably will. They probably will eventually come available again, but they're just tied up at the moment.
I hope so, but I mean, I remember seeing the reason I had to check was because I was sure that Minecraft Story Mode got pulled from every single store on the net, even on the Switch. It was a while ago.
Yeah, but these things don't have to happen overnight. It's what was that? What was that game? Oh, it took for years to finally get released because it was basically constantly in legal ramblings who actually owned it. What was it? Only got released like 3 years ago. But it was like an old game that got pulled because no one could decide who actually owned it. And it got stuck in battle. Yeah, it got stuck in a rights battle, and then someone eventually owned it and it got released. So I suspect, I wouldn't surprise you even if it's a year. These companies don't, right, when you've got so many IPs, don't forget they'd have licensing IPs with all the various companies.
Yeah.
It's a complicated web that doesn't have to just break down overnight.
Well, it's like, what was it? The last game I know that got pulled from stores that I was a little bit interested in was there was the DuckTales remaster of the classic NES game. I can't remember who developed it, but because they lost the licensing right again, that got pulled off the store. And it's like, you'll probably never see it again. Legend of Korra, done by Platinum Games, based on the Avatar series, that got pulled. And I think it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also got pulled, done by Platinum Games. Licensing rights are a ball ache, and shamefully a lot of good games just disappeared.
Well, Vice City disappeared temporarily
that
on
was
Steam.
music, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't directly. Yeah, it was the music that caused it, not the game itself that caused it. Yeah.
You'd have thought they'd have bought, like a lifetime license for the music rather than.
You would have thought.
But then that's a lot of money to go for.
And also, I think they got saved at the time. I think they thought themselves, "Wow," because it was quite a long time, wasn't it? Because Vice City came out. That was obviously PS2. So Vice City, I think that came out. I think about 10 years later, it got pulled, something like that.
Yeah.
So you think they thought, well, who's going to still be buying this game in 10 years' time? Because
they only really looked at the range of the original pressings of the life of the console.
Yeah, so at the time, it was produced. It was produced on a console disc. Those by nature have a finite life. Yeah. Because they're not going to keep making them.
Of course.
They probably didn't see the whole digital because Vice City was pre-digital distribution, I think. Because it was all just in its infancy.
Yeah, because I had GTA 3 on disc. Yeah, you're right.
So it was probably a case of, oh shit, we didn't see it coming, and it just scuppered a bit. But they resolved it. It got back on there. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether they pulled songs or whether they got more licenses. I mean, Rockstar could have gone either way. To be fair, they're big enough they could have bought licenses.
No, for sure.
But so,
I
think Telltale Games will eventually return.
I hope so.
Because they are neat. But yeah, I played it. I have to say it was definitely, I would say, a worthy final part. I was very cautious about playing. A, because I thought, is it going to be shit because it got developed in a rush for the last 2 episodes? Is it going to be because
I mean, surely they'd have already had the storyboards.
You would have thought so. I don't know how well developed they were. Apparently, Telltale were quite knuckle to the bone to gain the games written and developed and out there. Right, okay. From what I understand, that's why sometimes an episode when they're meant to, because at one point they were meant to be releasing like an episode a month, and we ended up waiting like 5 months for it because they had issues and so forth. So I think they actually worked quite close from. Because the engine they had, don't forget, because it's mostly scripted, they actually don't need that much time to do the animation and so forth. So Chris really says but yeah, it's I'd say a worthy finish to the series. It does tie up Clementine's story nicely. It does leave it open to further expansion, but maybe I think the idea is this final season was her story's over.
Okay.
And there is a reason why her story's over. I won't gonna say whether I'm gonna say what happens to her, but there is a reason why her story's over. I'm not gonna say what actually happens to her.
She finally finds a pub.
No, no, I don't think there's any pubs in this. That's what I went wrong. Yeah. But yeah, definitely, I would say definitely a worthy finish to the game. I was quite sad to finish it.
Yeah, brutal. Hey, it's quite sad that all of those games went. But then that is the nature of modern game distribution. Just imagine if those games weren't on physical discs on some platforms, they'd be completely lost to. Assuming they don't come back, at least they'll be lost to.
I have to say, what I will say, actually, AJ's voice acting is pretty darn good.
Okay.
I don't know how old the person is who voiced him, but he sounds like a kid, and he's done pretty darn well, and he's pretty well written. Yeah. As well. So.
I actually remember hearing. I can't remember what show it was, but there was a theme. The main theme song was actually sung by a child, and then years later, the child is actually doing concerts for that theme song. You're thinking to yourself in your head,
your voice is going to be different.
No, you're thinking to yourself, wow, that must be a teenager singing that song, and it turns out it's like a 9-year-old. And then you see him on the stage, and you're like, wait, how old is that person? They're only 16 years. How fucking talented were they that they were actually in a band and singing that shit at that rate? Just mind blown.
Indeed.
Anyway,
so when it comes available again, or if you pirate it, not that we endorse piracy.
I mean, you can get it on console, I'm sure.
There's a. Well, that's a good question actually, because obviously
the digital versions were likely all pulled, but I mean...
What I'm saying is, Telltale tend to release the console version after the episodes are out. Because they put them on the disc.
Yeah, they did that with Minecraft. Hang on then, let me have a quick look.
I doubt it. See, I'd be amazed if
I'm sure it was on console on this.
Digitally maybe, but physically I doubt it.
Let me have a wee looky-loo.
So, Walking Dead final season. Telltale final season might be the ones to look for.
I'll just look up Xbox. I'm sure it was on the Xbox. Series collection for Xbox One, new and sealed, £20.
Yeah, but is that
Telltale's Walking Dead: The Final Season, Xbox One, £12.
It got released.
Yeah, so it did get Walking Dead Telltale Definitive Series, Xbox One, all 4 seasons and DLC, new and sealed, £26.75. You can still get them, which is neat.
Yeah. Obviously, this press didn't get pulled, so it looks like it's going to be a console option if you want to play the game.
Yeah. Because I have a funny feeling if you were to look for keys for like Steam or whatever on CD keys or somewhere like that, it's going to cost you a small bloody fortune.
Maybe.
Mate, I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee it because I can remember. I don't remember what game. There's a few games I've wanted to buy that have been pulled from the store, and if keys are available, they go for a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money, like usually in the hundreds. And there's going to be some crazy motherfucker out there that's like, I want to have the complete Steam library. I haven't bought a game on Steam now for about a year.
Wow.
I know.
Steam sells soon.
No, they've been emailing me for the last couple months. Hey, by the way, this game's on sale. I was like,
yeah, but it's a big one coming soon.
I haven't turned on my gaming PC in months.
Wow.
Haven't turned it on in months, and you got to remember my gaming laptop died of fan failure.
But according to Steam, when I was on it today, you were online only a day ago.
Oh no, I chat to people.
I
chat to people.
There you are.
So right. I don't, because like that'll say now that I was online today because I looked to see if there was Walking Dead on the store. So, because I'm looking to get Rocksmith for my children, that's why I'm on Steam. No, that is a lie. I have launched Steam. I launched Rocksmith on the laptop that's just there. That is literally all that's installed. That's all I've touched on Steam in a long time. Custom DLC on the PC version. Hey.
There we are.
There you go.
I was going to ask you, Phil Random, what's your thoughts on WT Social? Wikipedia founder is making a social media site. Have you not heard about this?
No.
Oh,
Inform me.
I only know what he said in the AMA. Basically, he wants to make a social media site that is not funded through ad revenue to try and so he's not going to be any sort of data mine or anything like that.
Right.
He wants to try and fight back against fake news, air quotes, and misinformation and so forth, using the Wikipedia model. It's still very early days how this is all going to work at the moment. It's still very early days. And they're sort of trying to figure out, because at the moment he's basically self-funding this. He's invested $500,000 into it, which is a pittance when you think for social media.
Yeah. What kind of social media are we talking here? Like Twitter, Instagram?
It's going to be, I think,
Facebook.
it's going to be Facebook-like.
Right.
From what I've seen of it, at the moment it's mainly around about news and news articles and so forth. That's all their initial starting to try and their goal to try and do is basically try and avoid echo chambers and that sort of thing. So
it's the bloody internet, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're going to try and avoid it they almost want to create an algorithm whereby you'll be shown news stories that you're interested in, but at the same time you'll be shown reliable sources from from stuff that you wouldn't see.
Didn't Facebook say they were going to do the same thing a while back?
Yeah, but trouble with Facebook is they're still ad money focused.
Sure, I suppose.
Whereas these guys,
they're not necessarily encouraged to do.
No. There's a lot of talk on how they're going to deal with it. It sounds like they're not going to have any sort of visible likes or reactions are going to be
probably the best idea.
Or if they are, they talked about having them hidden so people can like a story.
No, they've tried that a shit ton on Instagram and Facebook, and then they've started hiding like how many likes and things you get, and people just stop using the platform because they don't feel like they're getting rewarded. That number is very important to some people.
I think it's more for that you can't see how much that news article got.
No, for sure.
Liked.
But then again, some people use that as a gauge of quality.
Oh, that's if you're using it as a gauge of quality, you're fucking stupid.
No, I know.
That is one of the worst possible gauges of quality out there.
No, because that then means that people are like, oh, look at this, it's really popular. And
must be true. No,
absolute bollocks.
You're fucking stupid. If you think that's your metric, you're fucking stupid. So basically, they're trying to, so they're aiming at more acts, or at the moment, I think they're aiming more for, I don't want to say academic is the wrong term because that makes it sound snob. I don't sound snobbish. That it's not like a full on. So it's early days at the moment. It's not a full on social media site. I've put myself on the waiting list.
All right.
Because they're doing at the moment they're adding 100,000 users a day.
Okay.
So it's because they've got to build the servers up and everything sort of slowly, but they are talking. They might have already done it actually.
I might sign up to have a look.
They are talking of actually opening up a lot sooner. It's if you search for WT Social, you should come across it.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, it's very early days
about it. If you'd have said there was something like it was going to be something like Twitter, the open source community have already come up with stuff like that, like Mastodon and GNU Social and stuff like that. So, just I don't know.
I suppose the advantage that obviously people know of Wikipedia. So Wikipedia founder creates a new site. It's going to give probably a lot more traction.
People know of Wikipedia, but they don't know of the founder. If you ask majority of the people on the
planet, you don't need to know the founder. But you don't need to know who he's called. But if your advertising is Wikipedia founder starts a new social site, people.
No, I don't think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, hey, the guy behind Wikipedia. Most people are going to be like, hey, look, mate, that fucking celebrity's tits just blew up. Look at that funny video.
Well. Yeah, I'll be on there as well.
There's not. I don't think a lot of the people who actually use the internet give a shit about who's doing what. If it's not a funny video or, some random meme or complete bollocks that makes them go, they're not going to follow it.
I was following the guys, he did an AMA on Reddit, and I was reading through his replies on that. And basically he said, look, we have ideas of how to solve all the problems with social media. We don't know if they're going to work. What we're trying to do is experiment and see, and we're hoping that through experimentation we will find the way to solve some of the problems.
Do you want to know what the problem with social media is?
People.
Yes, people. It's just open to too many people. It is so easy on the internet these days to just find a group that you fit into and stick to it.
I also think, though, it's part of the social media. If you have I think the point is that if you're a social media site that's designed from ad revenue, they want to keep you on their platform as long as possible.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're only going to show you content that they know that you'll engage with or like.
Even because you're talking about social media, we're not talking about the front page of The Guardian.
No.
Fucking hell, man. You can tell Facebook organise things by most recent rather than most popular. It will default to most popular, but it's all shit. No matter... honestly, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere, because it will all be shit.
Even he says it may totally fail. Even he says it may not work, it may completely fail, but I want
to see them try, but I honestly think it's going to be complete and utter trash. Because it's just social media. There's no way to save social media. You can't. It's a garbage thing. It's a time sink, and I have just gone and fucked up the page because the chat has just gone. Goody. Just 1 second. Where's the... There it is. If only I was clever and had actually bought
it properly, yeah.
Oh, fucking good job.
Yeah, you've lost everything.
There was a comment about Wikipedia doing something, and... fuck you, chat, you stupid piece of shit. Fucking motherfucker.
Oh, good, it's all gone. Fair enough. Right. That's what I want to say anyway, so...
But yeah, I hadn't heard of it, but hey-ho.
Time to wrap up then.
Oh, is that it?
That is it.
All right.
We've been on for over an hour. What more do you possibly want? So,
well, in fairness, this will probably take, what, about 5 hours to render on this machine for some reason.
So, well, for me, TheSuffolkRam.
And Skazz.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the 21st for our Christmas edition.
Marvellous.
It's a stream. It's a stream. Technically, you're streaming to your PC. I'm not going to talk about the live part. But yeah, we will see you then.
Marvellous. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
I've ruined it. I've lost it. Where's the mouse pointer gone, Ram?
I don't know. You're in charge of that.
No, don't leave me in charge of things. Fools.